Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Harihi Om.
That which we call the outer world is perfect. This which we call the inner world is perfect. Each one filled with divine consciousness. Perfect comes from perfect. Take perfect from perfect. The remainder is perfect. Divine consciousness is non-dual. Anything that emerges from the divine consciousness is whole, is complete, is Purna. May peace and peace and peace be everywhere. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purna.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Purnamada episode season 3, episode 10. And today being a Sunday, I'm sure you must be having a very relaxed day. But don't worry, we came back today to start your Sunday and make you meet an interesting guest of ours. And before I introduce the guest, the show is impossible without Dr. Tripti Jain, our mentor, the main person behind the show who has conceptualized everything with Shrija. And Dr. Tripti Jain has been a past life therapist in India and also abroad that she is practicing. And the best thing about her is the way she closely bonds to everyone, her clients, her subjects, and even her students. And thank you, ma'am, for giving us this opportunity yet again today and to listen to you. And ma'am, today the guest that we have with us is our favorite, Nidhi Sagar. And Nidhi, everyone, let me just give you a very brief introduction before Nidhi pops up on our screen today. So, Nidhi has been from the corporate world and she was there for over 2 decades that she was working there as a DGM in the telecom sector. And her journey is as exciting as Nidhi herself is. So when you see Nidhi, you will see a very vivacious person behind this entire wall that you're seeing right now. And Nidhi found her calling in past life therapy and with NLP that she is doing her current work now. Nidhi hails from the beautiful city of Shimla, and we can, we see her work all around us, through her photography, through her, because she has been into English also. She has been a student of English literature. So you will be able to relate to Nidhi when she talks to you, when she gives you the entire story behind her experience of past life. So let us not delay any further and call up Nidhi. Hi Nidhi, please show us yourself. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Abhilasha. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for having me here.
Absolutely. So, Nidhi, you told me you were a little nervous today.
Delightfully nervous.
But there's
Who
nothing to
wouldn't
be
be?
nervous about. Yeah. So, Nidhi, I mean, I've known you for many years now, and I've seen the growth that you have taken in your life, the leap forward. That's what I like to say. But I think for the audience here, love it if you share a little bit of the challenges of your childhood, because that really makes who you are. So,
It does.
so share a little bit of that.
So I'm like Abhilasha said, I belong to Shimla. I've been born and brought up here, and we come from a very simple middle class family, and we have been from the very start. We were staying with our grandparents. So we were six of us. My parents, my younger sister, me, and our grandparents. So there was a very close attachment that I had with my dadi, and I realized this, and all of this has come back to me as I've been looking back on my life and reflecting that there was such a close association. She was ingrained in spirituality. She was an ardent believer of Sai Baba, and I think I have been her tail. I still feel I am her tail, and I would go wherever she would go, and she would take me to her groups where they would meet for kirtan and bhajan, and I would also sing along with her. This was brought to an abrupt halt when she passed away when I was 10. And I mean, even my parents would have been dealing with this loss. It is a big loss, and I really didn't know how to process it. And in hindsight, I mean, I realized that there was just no conversation around it. I'm sure mom and my father would have been comforting each other, consoling each other with this loss. Of course, even my grandfather. But I think we were more like children, like, what parents would feel, how would children process it. So this thing was never brought up or discussed. And it didn't even occur to me until much later, which I'll come to. That was the beginning of what I can sense is the creation of a void in my life, which created a two of me, and I began to live in a sense of detachment from my own self. This is a hindsight thinking right now. I wouldn't have known it at that time. And so began my regular schooling. And then my grandfather was extremely excited about the idea that I should take up science and study medicine, and I did take up the science stream for the love of it. But somewhere inside, the detached or disenchanted me forgot the idea of what it feels like to really strive hard, and just went on with the course. And to my parents' dismay, also, I'm sure, did not clear the PMTs. I did study for that. I dropped a year. I did study, but then did not clear it. And I was quite okay about it. And then came a time when people would say, "अच्छा MBA करना है, ये करना है," तो वो चलते जा रही थी, तो मैं भी चली जा रही थी. And I found myself applying for a job soon after I finished my graduation. I was still doing my post graduation at that time, MA in English. My mom insisted that you have to be a postgraduate, and therefore I had to. I'm glad I did. That is when I started working. And with work came the idea of a salary, certain amount of independence. The rebel in me began to feel stronger. I realized that we've been caged in Shimla for too long. And my sister was already studying in NIFT in Delhi at that time. And I said, "Ye chalige, mujhe bhi jana hai. ये पकड़ के रखा हुआ है हमको यहाँ पे." So the first opportunity that I got, the interview happened over the telephone, and I just ran. Literally, I ran with hardly just a few shirts and some trousers and a bag packed, and I went.
Flew
away.
away.
And the journey in the corporate began. Then a very interesting episode happened in 2002. My sister and I we were staying in a very small apartment, a Barsati in Delhi, in a very interesting locality. Now, what happened with me? And now I've been a science person, I've been a non-believer, I've been a rebel. One day she was not in Delhi, she was here in Shimla. And it was a very strong summer day. I reached home from office and I realized there's nothing to eat at home. And I told myself, I said, let me just rest for a while. I'll go out in the evening and I'll go get some stuff for myself. Rain started. I was chatting with a friend of mine in Chandigarh on SMS. That time it was SMS. My phone went out of battery. I told her I'm going inside for charging my phone. No electricity. So I had no food. We did not have a gas burner at that time. We were using an electric heater. And I had nothing to eat, not even biscuits, no bread, nothing, only water in the tap. So I said, अब मैं क्या करूं? तो मुझे लगा मुझे ऐसे ही सोना पड़ेगा. मैं सो गई. देर रात कोई 11-12 बजे के करीब मेरी नींद खुली और मुझे आवाज आई अपने रूम में. एक रूम था, रूम में आवाज आई हेलो. And I was so scared. I said, did I leave the door open? Did I check the lock? And I realized I checked the lock and everything. I got up to see that there was this light filtering in through the door. I said, did I leave the door open now? मेरी नींद खुली. मुझे नहीं मालूम वो सपना था कि क्या था. नींद खुलने के बाद I realized that it was all a dream or probably just I don't know what it was. The room was full of water because बाहर इतनी बरसात हो रही थी कि पानी अंदर आ गया. ये करते करते ये एक अजीब सा इंसिडेंट. मुझे आज भी वो आवाज क्लियरली सुनती है. मुझे it has a very nice soft comforting texture to it, but it's a male voice. And there was no way somebody could have come. We were all really secured in that room. I didn't speak of this experience to my sister because she knows that I have a very beautiful imagination, so I can, ये create करती रहती है. I didn't tell her anything. A few days down the line, she came the next morning. We had nothing to eat, so we managed something out that day. A week down the line, she and I were standing on the terrace. Both had come back from office, and it was a very windy day, similar, weather conditions as the previous. And I said, Mani, अंदर चलते हैं. ये बहुत तेज बारिश वाला time हो रहा है. Something can just keep flying from somewhere and hit us because it was very windy. We went inside, no electricity. Same. Then karte karte we went off to sleep. The moment we went inside, something shattered on our door. Split second saved because of the shards of glass falling on us. That day, that night when we were sleeping, I felt something moving in the room. And I could feel something rising from where we were sleeping, rising from between and moving towards where the cooler was to operate that. I said, ये क्या हो रहा है? I said, कुछ नहीं है. मेरी imagination बहुत ज़्यादा strong हो रही है आजकल. I turned and I slept. So my sister said, Didi, what's wrong with you? Why are you moving around in the room so much? And why are you fiddling around with the sheet? Can you not just let me be? What are you doing next to the cooler? I said, but I'm right here. She said, really? And we both froze and we slept. It didn't scare us, but we said, kuch to hai. This was the beginning of some experience which I started narrating in office. And one of my team members from office says, Nidhi, do you believe in all this? I said, what crap are you asking me? Do I believe in all this? You've got to be scientific, not logic, kaam karo, ye sab baatein mat karo. She said, but Nidhi, you're talking about an experience which is so out of the ordinary. I said, no, forget about it. Whatever was happening at home was a series of something, but what changed because of this is this girl gave me Many Lives, Many Masters.
Okay.
And she insisted that I read it. She said, do you believe in past life? I said, I do not. And don't even talk about this random subject with me, okay? So I said, I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in past life. I don't believe. It's only science. Prove it. I will believe it.
Correct.
So she says, no, Nidhi, read. Karte karte na, every day she would sit like this in front of me. Nidhi, pada. Nidhi, pada. Nidhi, pada. I said, nahi pada. Eventually, I obliged. That was, I feel, a second point where something was telling me, kuch hai iske alawa, open up. I read that book, something really shifted within me. And after reading that book, what was also happening was, I would turn into a Nat Geo or a Discovery documentary. There was a past life regression case history being discussed over there about how a person was meeting up with a family whose girl refused to acknowledge her birth parents as her birth parents, would say मेरे parents कहीं और रहते हैं, मुझे वहां लेके जाओ. उसको लेके गए तो उसने पूरा रास्ता बताया. I said, what is happening? I just brushed it aside. Then a few years down the line, work kept happening. Few years down the line, I tuned in, and there was this promo of Raj Pichle Janam Tha. I said,
Okay.
"Ye to dikhna band." You know,
Hmm.
I was reading, and by that time I had read a lot of Dr. Brian Weiss's, almost all his books.
Correct.
Then Raj Pichle Janam Ka happened, and every day in office, you know, people would bring their chairs. My colleagues, चलो निधि चाय पीते, कल का एपिसोड समझाओ ना, ऐसे कल का एपिसोड समझाओ, ऐसे इसमें समझना क्या है? नहीं वो ऐसे कैसे हो गया, नहीं वो वैसे कैसे हो गया, ऐसे लिसन हैंग ऑन,
Hmm.
एक स्टोरी थ्रेड है, बाकी डायरेक्टर का भी कुछ विजुअल ड्रामेटाइजेशन है, that nowhere means that this can be falsified or this is not the truth.
Hmm.
So that was another thing, and I kept ignoring all of these things, you know. I mean, I kept working and kept
Like the signs, yeah.
aligning myself to what I was doing in the
Yeah.
office. Then came another boss of ours who made us read books, and I'm very fond of reading books.
Hmm.
He allocated a book, reallocated rather. He gave me the book Alchemist.
Ah.
उसमें आया about this guy Santiago who's always looking over the signs in the universe. अच्छा हाँ होते होंगे signs in the universe. Beautiful story, but it doesn't really happen in real life. Okay, that book changed, brought in a certain perspective which I still ignored.
Hmm.
Towards the close, say around 2009-10, I started getting less and less excited about the work that I was doing. I started getting detached even more, and it was nothing that I was doing voluntarily. It was just happening. Came 2012, one day I realized that there was so much of shifts that have happened so far in life, and I've just been going through it. I found myself at a point where I felt very alone at work. It was like a very ऐसे नहीं जैसे डाउनहिल जा रहे हो, आप देख रहे हो कि आप डाउनहिल जा रहे हो with all that you're doing. It's, you know, meeting deadlines or keeping the budgets in mind and doing all of that was happening, but I was not there. I said something is amiss, and there was a gnawing pain inside me. There was this something that I found one day in office. I would hardly dress up properly, and I used to really take care of how I would dress up. One day I realized ये क्या कुर्ता पहना है, ये क्या सलवार पहनी है, ये क्या चुन्नी है, कोई मैच भी नहीं कर रही है ये चीजें. What is happening here? When I was sitting at my desk and I realized it's been more than 10-15 days that I haven't seen myself in the mirror. Gradually, and I could see things changing outside me in office. I could see people looking at me in a different way. I could see myself going down a spiral. I said, this is reaching somewhere, and I could see it reaching an end. I could seriously see it. But somewhere I felt so helpless. I really don't know how to work, how to take care of it. What was it that was taking me away from myself more and more and more and more? तो एक दिन ना मैं अपने altar के सामने बैठ के I was really sitting and crying, and I said, if you really are there, can you please help me? Can you pick me out of here? And I picked up a book which was lying there, and I opened up to a random page, and I said, I'm going to find something which gives me a message today. That book said that if you feel you've really tried very hard trying to overcome the situation that you are in, and I really did not know what situation that was in and how did it even come around, me going downward like that. It said it's time to move on. There were some people who were telling me, Nidhi, यही जगह है, इसी को ठीक करना है. वो किताब मुझे बोलती है, it's time to move on. You know, I believe in taking a lot of feedback and asking people, but that is where my heart said it is time to move on. And I said, ऐसे कैसे move on करो without even telling my parents. So I took leave from office. I came to tell my parents about the idea that enough is enough. ये खत्म हो रहा है. My father said to me that day, he says, आप ना 4 साल late हो गए. I said, what do you mean? He says, I have seen you growing outwardly, but there is something within you which is not growing. You are not growing as a person. You're way too late. Quit if you have to. That was a time when it couldn't have come down to any worse than that. I had nothing in hand. Beautiful. Nothing in hand. My only joy of the entire time as I look back in my corporate life was the time when I was when I learned how to work with people, when I learned how to train, okay, it was not even my core job, but when I would stand there and train, I would be a different me. That is something that I was not doing over there. I was doing something very different. The entire space came down crumbling like that. I was in the darkest at that time, and I said, "ये चल क्या रहा है life में? ये चल क्या रहा है life में?" I said, "If you're still there, can you please help me?" And there's a quotation by Rumi which says, "A hole is where light enters." When you are at your worst, something happens. That was a time when we were reconnecting with our classmates in school. And there is one classmate of mine, I hadn't spoken to her in ages. I just connected, we started talking. She said, "I'm a Reiki practitioner." And we started talking about, I said, "I've read a lot of books about past life regression, but so much of theory out there." She said, "Nidhi, you like it? Let's attend a workshop." I said, "What workshop are you talking about? Yeah, I have no money. Okay, I've quit my job. I have this whatever little saving that I have. This is what it is. I really don't want to be in a space where I have to ask for money ask my parents for money." She said, "Nidhi, chalte hain. What time se you've been at it? Let's go and experience this Dr. Jain." And I was blank, honestly. She says, "Dr. Jain, you don't remember? You just told me you've been watching Raz Pichhle Janam Ka." I said, "I only know her as ma'am, okay?" And that is the time. I said, "I see you know her." She says, "No, I don't know her personally, but I've seen a Facebook post. There's a lady called Abhilasha. She's put up a post, and I think both of you and I should go." She brought me to your workshop.
Okay.
And
Nidhi, who was she? Nidhi, who was this girl?
Her name is Seher. So she flew from Chennai, and I went from we stayed at my flat in Delhi, and we attended the workshop 2 days. I came back, she went.
And after that, you have no touch with her?
No touch with her.
No touch with her.
Okay,
Wow.
that's interesting.
So and another interesting thing that happened was my colleague who gave me Many Lives Many Masters, she said, "अच्छा लगा?" I said, "बहुत अच्छा लगा." She says, "एक philosophy है जो इसमें believe करती है. Would you like to be a part of that philosophy?" And she introduced me to Buddhism. That was my first interaction, I would say, with spirituality, or my first brush with spirituality ever since my grandmother. We would have our regular rituals at home, Diwali puja and all of that, but it was nothing from the heart ever. And when she took me there, that was when I touch based with spirituality one more time, and I started to study a lot. I studied a lot of theoretical books in Buddhism at the same time when I was reading books on past life regression, and that is when I met you. All these things, there was this line of me going in the corporate world, and something was or probably deviating, and something was bringing me to another path.
Absolutely.
I was sitting.
Nidhi, you just gave the quote of Rumi, and Rumi's other quote fits you perfectly, that what you are seeking is seeking you.
I believe that.
That's exactly what happened with you, my dear.
Wow. And ma'am, the best thing here, if I should add, Nidhi, if you also realize, 2012 was actually a year where a lot of shift happened. This was the year of the great shift, and that is what the Mayans have been speaking about. And you people had this entire thought about 2012 where they thought that the earth would come to an end. It actually didn't come to an end. The human beings, they started vibrating at a higher frequency. And as things started moving very faster in lives of people who wanted to get into spirituality. And so I think you and me, we both can resonate with this thought, because it was the same year when I went into spirituality, and you also shifted towards spirituality.
Yeah.
So
it was like a fast track into spirituality. जैसे किसी ने button दबा दिया हो ना, and I was reading books after books. Even this friend of mine, she told me, she said, "Brian Weiss पढ़ी ना, ये वाली books भी पढ़, ये वाली books भी पढ़." And I was reading all that. I was sitting, my father was there in that room one day, and I was sitting and reading the books. I just shut the book and threw it not out of disrespect, but threw it out of frustration. I said, "I can't take it anymore." And Papa tells me, "Then don't read." I said, no, you don't understand what I mean. I need space here to fathom what is happening right now, because there's so much. I mean, I felt I was running short of cranial space at that time to be able to absorb what was happening, and at such a fast pace. 2000 12 के बाद जो किताबें, then 2015 in your workshop, it was like somebody had really pressed that button fast, and I was understanding. ऐसा नहीं था कि मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही थी चीजें,
Correct.
मुझे समझ आ रही थी ये चीजें, और मुझे समझ नहीं आता कि मैं बात किससे करूं. I did not know who to talk to. And that 1 year, I have really, when I really prayed, I've spent that 1 year in oblivion, hiding even from my parents, I feel, because I felt I have left my job. I really have no face to show them anymore. I don't know what's happening to me, but something different was happening inside, which I came to realize much later. And even when you announced a workshop in your 2-day workshop, you said that I teach. I said, my God, who's going to have that kind of money to learn this now? All right. And my sister that time was in China. I spoke to her. She says, Didi, 2002 से तू लगी हुई है, पढ़ते जा रही है टॉपिक, टीचर भी सामने आ गई है, तू अभी भी कह रही है कि this is expenditure. Didi, whatever you spend on yourself or with yourself that you do is an investment. It's not an expenditure. That one word,
investment,
shifted. Yeah. I think it was the final thing, you know.
So let us hear about your past life experiences.
That was theory coming into practical realization.
Exactly. So that's why I want to know.
I was in the workshop, and you said that, okay, we are going to experience a past life through a bodily ailment. I said, bodily ailment to hai nahi, ab kya sochu main? Then I realized that there used to be a coin-sized pain here in my shoulder ever since I can remember. So it would intensify, it would go down. And whenever I would talk to somebody, people would say, oh, spondylitis shuru ho raha hai. You're too young for spondylitis and all. I really didn't understand what led them to saying that, because it wasn't more than a coin size. It was just as if under my skin something had been kept, a stone, and somebody was applying pressure on that. That is the kind of pain that I would have. Now I said, okay, let me just experience this or explore this. I reach a life in 1475. I was a Spanish man, very good looking, tall, 28 to 30 years, and I felt that I was a part of the Royal Army. Now, my past life experiences have brought in a very profound realization. Having said that, they were like snapshots, one image and one image. So that was the image of me wearing something white and cross-gartered sandals or something, and a gear, an armor. Then you said, all right, I'd like you to move towards where you are at home. I could see my parents as my parents. I could see my sister as my brother. I can even till date remember the kind of decor, the furniture, and everything was there in the house. I went and I was washing my hands there was a big bowl kept over there, and my brother was making me wash my hands. अभी ये मुझे कॉन्शियस रियलाइजेशन में नहीं आएगा कि वहां पानी की सप्लाई ऐसे नहीं होती थी तो हाथ इस तरह से धोए जाते थे. This was not I wouldn't have thought about it. Then when we moved to a point of death in that lifetime, I saw myself riding a horse, and as I was going from under a tree, I felt that I've been stabbed here. With a knife. And that was the last day, because the stabbing resulted in losing the balance, etc., fall, and it was a fatal fall. I died in that life at a very young age. Now, I came to you after that workshop, after that experience, and I said, ये मेरा imagination है, ये झूठ है, क्योंकि I'm learning Spanish right now, and I have had this pain, and by reading Dr. Brian Weiss's books, I've been telling my mother all this while, ये ना मुझे किसी ने चाकू मारा होगा, and that's exactly what I saw. And you had that expression on your face, because you know, it's like that expression, another one comes to kind of
non-believer.
Another non-believer. And he said, theek hai. So you asked me a very pertinent question at that time. You said, about Spanish. You said, and I said, because I'm learning Spanish, I had to imagine myself as a Spanish person. So you said, are you learning Spanish and that's why you saw yourself as a Spanish person, or do you already have a connect somewhere with that time, land, language, culture, is why you are inclined towards learning Spanish.
Hmm.
That was something that I did not have an answer to.
Hmm.
Then you said, what is your imagination like normally? I said, I have a
Hmm.
very vivid imagination. She said, so you said, do you recall every detail like this when you sit and imagine?
Hmm.
I said, no, imagination is normally very cursory.
Hmm.
Then you said, अच्छा ये जो दर्द है,
Hmm.
इसको give it some time. Let's look at it after a period of time. And after that workshop, I came back here to Shimla. I forgot about it. There was work happening. So I got involved in that work here. And 15, 20 days, 1 month down the line, I realized I haven't had that pain.
Hmm.
To this day, I haven't had that pain.
It's been 5 years, or 6 years.
It's been 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Wow.
It was so much so that I was talking to a colleague of mine and I was narrating this experience to her. And she said, Nidhi, which pain are you talking about? That pain?
Hmm.
I said, what do you mean? She said, you always sit like that. Even at work, you would sit like that and keep
Ah.
working your shoulder. Like, I said, that pain is gone. I said, yeah, that pain is gone.
Wow.
So that is when my belief
Hmm.
that all this is real and not just the theory that I've been reading became stronger. Then there was another fear that I had, and you said we'll go through a fear, and my fear was strange.
Okay.
My fear is called, how I term it, is the fear of trying.
So it's actually it's called a neophobia.
Neophobia.
To try something new.
Not to
Or to
try
just
something.
try. But
नहीं
wait, so
करना.
correct. So
हाँ.
that is it's a phobia.
हाँ.
You're not wanting to try. Yeah.
मैं ये देखती थी कि मैं कुछ भी initiatives लेने से पहले इतना डरती हूँ. That fear also made me fearful of seniors and authority.
Okay.
Like if I'm having a conversation like this with you, a comfortable conversation, that this is not the me that used to be.
Hmm.
And I would say, ki, who am I to even tell them anything? You know, chota muh badi baat was something which would ring in my head. What are you telling? You're nobody to tell them.
Hmm.
That's the fear that I had in mind when you took us through a fear. In that, I saw that, or I felt rather, that I was a very young guy. I was a British guy here in India in 1920, and I was very enterprising. And in that excitement of being enterprising, I would do a lot of work which was not even asked by my boss or the
Seniors.
employer,
Hmm.
seniors. And I took something back which was not what he had expected or even asked me to do. And I saw the file, I felt the file being flung across the room, and he said, you have ruined us.
Okay.
That voice
Hmm.
is the voice of my boss back then. I mean, my first boss rather. And I used to be so scared of him. People in my office would say, Aapko aata to hai, you know everything, why don't you answer?
Hmm.
And I'm sure there was a hint of lack of confidence that they would have perceived in me, but how would I even tell? I didn't even know what was happening. After that episode, when I realized that my relationship with him as a human being, as a boss, started to emerge or evolve even more. That fear went. And I did not realize it immediately. I realized it when I'd gone for an interview, which one of my friends had told me that you go for an interview. I said, I'm not looking for a job. He says, मैंने बात कर ली है, जाके मिल आओ. मेरे senior हैं, आ रहे हैं India, तुम मिल आओ. I went. When I was talking to him, I realized I was not talking to him as a person who is any less than what he is.
Hmm.
And I was driving back home, and I said, was it really me talking to him? Because he told me, it'll be nice to partner with you. He said, are you looking for a job? I said, no, I'm not looking for a job, because if I come into your establishment, I will have to abide by the rules, and I would not be able to bring the kind of changes that I will see, because I'll be working under you that time. Here, I can give you an opinion from outside. And then I was driving back home. I said, ये मैं थी? ये कब हुआ?
ये confidence कब आया?
ये कब आया? ये कब बदला? ये कौन है? Who is this person who's changing? So these insights, these things have not been an overnight shift.
Correct.
Like today PLR, tomorrow change. No, it's been a process. It's been a
Yeah.
process because you have been a person continuously doing a certain thing for years.
Correct.
And it's only this realization which is at a very subconscious level. I don't think it's at a very conscious level also, this realization which keeps working with you and for you, to make you better or make you
Absolutely.
worse. So all of
Yes.
these insights have really helped me shape up over these years. So this
Wonderful.
is my experience. Another was a relationship with my mom,
Okay.
which was I had made it irritating to a point that I would snap, I would retaliate, and I would take pride in the fact that I was the rebel.
Mm.
And I didn't realize what was happening. In that workshop, when you said we will take a relationship here,
Mm.
I said this is one of the most important relationship in my life, and I really want to understand what is it that I'm creating a nonsense out of.
Mm.
In that life, I saw that there was a time when she was I was a man again, a young boy, 20 odd years. I went inside and she was like a very authoritative figure. I didn't see her face, but her presence is the same presence that I could sense.
Mm.
When in that, she looked at me and I must have done something. She looked at me, she turned away, she turned and her back towards me. That was it. That was the end. My realization with this was it is my realization, not hers. So if there is a change that has to happen, it is my responsibility, not hers. If there is a change in the behavior that has to be done, I will have to take that, because I know in this space of reincarnation, opportunities आती रहेंगी, लेकिन ये वाली अपॉर्चुनिटी मिस हो जाएगी. ऐसा नहीं है कि बाद में इस रिलेशनशिप पे काम करने का मौका नहीं मिलेगा कभी, लेकिन ये जो लाइफ की अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है और ये इनसाइट आई है, ये मिस हो जाएगी. And I decided to consciously start working towards that. It's different. It's very, very different today from
Yeah.
what it was at that time.
Yeah, I think Nidhi, you said something very important. What people need to know is that you haven't seen it like a movie, the past life experiences. It has, I think, the most significant scene where the change or the shift needs to be made came to you.
Yes, yes,
You know, like, I mean, if I always tell people that if I ask you to just scan your life till today's age, how many important scenes will you see? Maybe 5 or 6,
very
right?
few.
Because you can't really remember your whole life. I mean, if I'm now 60 years old, I don't have 60,000 scenes that I'm going to be seeing if I close my eyes, right? I may just see 6 or 7 scenes. And that's exactly what happened with you, Nidhi. It was
Yeah.
like a photo album, you know, like a
Yes.
photo album. Significant events of your life have been pictured as a photograph of that, and that's really how the memory
Yes.
started coming to you. But that is also significant. It's not that a past life has to be seen like a movie, just a significant scene. If it comes like an album, like photos that keep coming, even that can create a change. And I think, Nidhi, for you, along with the photographs that came, there was some feelings, because you keep saying feelings. You know,
Yes.
I felt this, I felt this.
Yes.
So you're obviously using your kinesthetic sense much more than possibly a visual. And
Yes.
I think that's also how the change happened in you.
Ma'am, I would also like to add here that the best thing that Nidhi shared with us today was, people expect a change suddenly, instant change चाहिए सबको, सब चीज instant चाहिए. आज they think they have come to a therapist, they expect the change to be instant, कि कल से मैं ठीक हो जाऊंगा. But like Nidhi said, the shift has to occur at your subconscious level. And it takes time, and people need to understand, they need to acknowledge that shift. और कई बार क्या होता है निधि, people, they don't even acknowledge the shift, and only when I acknowledge the shift, I can let more changes happen. I allow more changes to happen in me.
What you did in that was two important things for me.
Mm.
One, you made me meet myself. And the other was you may help me understand the power of NLP. So how did you make me meet myself? Like I said, when I lost my grandmom, I detached. I did not know it. And you did constellation work in which you picked me out, and you said, okay, choose an older person, choose your own unconscious self, choose a friend. Choose these three from the audience sitting. They just knew that one one is an older person, one is a friend, and one is my unconscious self. What was to play out, nobody knew. And you started to say, okay, now move. And we moved. My unconscious self went far away from me. When we opened our eyes about 2-3 minutes later, the older person, I had turned around and I hugged her really hard and I was wailing. I used to take pride in the fact that I don't cry. I'm so strong that I don't cry. I was wailing like I have never before in in the midst of an audience or people, say about 20-25 sitting out there, and I was hugging her so hard. And you asked everyone, who are you?
Mm.
I am Nidhi's unconscious self. Who are you?
Mm.
She said, I am her grandmother. I had not said the word grandmother.
Yes, because we had said only an older person.
And that is when I realized this detached me had actually come back.
The 10-year-old had come back.
The 10-year-old had suddenly grown up and found,
Yeah.
and I was crying with ease. And I realized that and the whole day I cried. And you asked this, Shakuntala was my unconscious self. You asked her, Shakuntala, tum itni dur kyun chale gayi? You said, mujhe itni zor se dhakka pada, she said. I felt as if I was pushed away from her. And you then told me you've actually pushed yourself away from yourself. And all these years of running around like an automaton, really, like a robotic entity, I realized that I was never me. People would tell me, Nidhi, you can write. And I'd say, "Ye kiski baat ho rahi hai? You're good at photography." I said, "Kaun hai? Ye kiski baat ho rahi hai?" I would just not even able to be able to believe all that they were saying. So that is one major shift that happened when I met myself. In the past life, one of the past lives, I saw my Dadi as my spirit guide.
Okay.
I saw her as my guide, leading me, guiding me. A whole lot of things have happened ever since where I feel, I sense, I acknowledge her presence around me. And I just thank. I don't know, I don't see her. But sometimes when I feel inclined to take something, do something which turns out right, I know she's the one who's guiding me. I know she's somewhere helping me through that.
Yeah.
The other thing that you helped in that workshop was sometime in 2008, 2009, we were getting to know about NLP at work. And I didn't know what NLP would really be so powerful. And you helped us merge NLP with past life regression. And that's when I realized, I said, ye itna powerful hai? Ye to communication tool hota tha. Back in the times when we were taught about or we being told about NLP. That created a hunger like never before, because I remember there was a time in office when we wanted to do an NLP workshop and people would say, itne ki hai. We'd run up to our HOD and say, aap sponsor kara do. And they said, no, we don't, not needed. No sponsoring happening. So it never happened. And here is a time when I find this and I find so much of power in that, and a little, whatever you taught during that half day of NLP, when I applied that in the past life sessions, there was a shift in how I was doing the sessions before and to now. So that is what led me to learning NLP. And
Yes, that became a new tool for you. So tell us something about the NLP journey and, how has it changed you as a person again?
I did not know what I was signing up for. I did not know that there is something called a certification. I just knew that I had to learn this. And I just asked कि किससे सीखना चाहिए. One of our very dear friends here, Ravi, he says, मैं तो पूना में सीखूंगा. There's a lady called Manjari. I said, okay, if you're writing a mail for yourself, I'm in, write a mail for me too. And I just went. I think it was not even me deciding, thinking logically. I was just allowing myself to go. When we say go with the flow,
Yes,
probably
allow.
for me, allow, surrender, I think this is what it means. And that opened a huge avenue, maybe another aspect of me getting to know myself. Working together, and it just occurred to us, can we do workshops together? So each one of us had a different thing to bring to the table. One was into numerology, one was very, very inclined towards doing inner child healing. I was with past life regression, and Ratna was more into heal your life. So we created a combo out of that. And we would do a workshop where each one of us would pitch in and give the flavor of these four different techniques or experiences to people, and get them to not just experience, but to even come out of their states, which we call as stuck states in their own situation. So it's been great. We've not been able to do so much work because of the fact that we live far, far away. But the group is together, and we are already in the process of thinking about what to do next and how to do our
Lovely.
workshops together. How
Very nice. And also, Abhilasha, the group travels together. They also went to the Kumbh together.
Yes.
And it's so nice. And I really love this. The students get together, they make their little own healing groups, and they do work. And that's how this work is going to spread far and wide. So that's so awesome, Nidhi.
A situation of swelling in my lower legs, ankle,
Okay.
calves, etc., for a long time.
Huh.
And I've been thinking whether I should, or what should I do. I've been undergoing a lot of checkups. I have also had it in mind to explore that through past life regression, but every time I would put that as an intent, as far as health was concerned, another aspect of health or something else would open up, and I would just go by whatever was coming. Because sometimes I think subconscious wants you to know more of something else rather than your inclination of getting a particular answer. So that kept getting pushed aside through the PLR work. And in NLP, I was talking to Manjari. I said, Manjari, do you have any thought about how we should look at this? She says, how are you experiencing or expressing joy? And that brought to me enormity of how language impacts us. I said, what do you mean express joy? So she says, okay, how do you express joy? I said, joyful, overwhelming with joy, overflowing with joy, however grandiloquent can you get? So she says, yeah, right. Overflowing. When will overflow happen? Okay. Overwhelming, full. So look at the words that you're using. I said, then what should I do? It took me about 5 days to realize that there is a simple word called happy. This simplicity in language, we have made it so difficult to even understand certain words that our body gets confused. I started applying the shift in language after that realization, and you will be amazed to know that the number of times that I've been getting a swelling, or the kind of intensity with which my legs earlier would swell up to now, I would say there's an 80% improvement. And the doctors had found nothing wrong physiologically, health wise, all tests normal. Finally, one doctor had told me, we are going to remove the lymphatic system from your legs.
Oh.
I said, thank you very much. I am okay with the way things are. I don't want any such thing to be done to me like that. But with NLP, my realization was that this can change. And that is when I understood that NLP is not merely a tool for communication per se. It is a huge shift that it can bring within you also, because you're communicating constantly with yourself through your thoughts. And it is a bridge to what we call mind and body. That's how we interact. That's the operating system. That's the language which connects and our programming happens because of that. That led me to another level of attending, and I said, "मैं नहीं करूँगी. I'll just stop after this because my sessions of past life are beginning to get better." Little did I know that both of us, Mani and I, were sitting in the to be getting, we were getting trained as trainers. And she asked her, she said, okay, when are you announcing your workshop? And we were scared. We took our time. She says, by the time this workshop ends, you have to announce the dates, and you have to at least tell कौन से महीने में training करोगे. And हमने एक दूसरे को देखा, popped up a word in our mind. I said, okay, between October and December of 2019. And there we were. And that's when our workshops also began. So I never thought that this is who I'm going to turn into. I really did not know.
Yeah.
But then,
And Nidhi, the thing that you said about your swelling, and
Yes.
the words that we use. I just want to tell people that human beings have a habit to think in a catastrophic manner.
Agreed.
We kind of exaggerate everything, and that's what you were doing, overwhelming, overflowing. So this catastrophic exaggerated thinking, actually, there is no requirement to do that, right? I mean, if you have a pain, you don't have to say it's paining a lot. It's paining, that's all, because you cannot measure pain. So the problem with us is because we're unable to measure something, we exaggerate it. And that's the signal that we're giving to our body.
And
And
ma'am,
so that's
simple
how the
things like
nervous system is functioning.
things
Yes.
like, we say somebody who's been diagnosed with high sugar levels will say, I am diabetic.
Yes.
And the body will begin to listen to that.
Correct.
And the person would
Absolutely.
wonder, why am I not getting better? Because I am taking all the precautions, I'm onto medication, but I'm not getting better. In fact, with the passage of time, for us, the way we are practicing NLP, she and I were diagnosed with high blood pressure somewhere in 2013, 2012,
Yes,
2013.
Nidhi, I remember this. You must
Yeah,
share that.
yeah.
Yes.
And last year, every day around 10 o'clock was my medicine time, and I would say, okay, I'm going to have my medicine. I would come up for the medicine, I would forget. So one day I said, Acha, theek hai, forgotten today, I will have it tomorrow. I forgot. It was almost a week, 10 days, and I was feeling good. I was feeling healthy. A month later, my sister asked me, she says, are you having your medicine? I said, I've been forgetting. She says, so have I.
Ah.
Now, I have been ignoring these signs earlier, but now I don't. So I said, is my body trying to tell me something? Is my body giving me an indication that I don't need it? And we went and got ourselves checked up about 3 months down the line after that, because we didn't get a chance to get ourselves checked up here in Shimla. We got ourselves checked up 3 months down the line. We hadn't had a medicine in 3 months. Normal.
Normal
From
BP.
July to maybe October, normal BP. Then again, I had a reason to visit the hospital in December of 2019. Again, the blood pressure was checked and it turned out to be normal. So it had been 6 months without medicine. And I really don't know what specific thing I would have done. What I do know is that a whole lot of shift came in the way we approach things, the language that we use, the way with which we look at scientific ailments. They are more environmental vis-a-vis genetic. So you might say this runs in the genes, but it is a trigger in the environment that happens for the gene to also find an expression. It's not a genetic thing necessarily. You have a possibility of that disease. You don't necessarily have to have that disease just because the elders in the family have also had those ailments. So that is the change of understanding that came by the book that you recommended, Biology of Belief. And I have actually, I think I drank it all up.
Underlined every word that Dr.
I
Bruce
drank it
Lipton
all up.
wrote. Yes.
Thankfully,
yes. And Nidhi, there's another very important thing that you have said, and I'd like to share with the audience, that Russian psychologists and Russian physicists have been saying this, that positive words, affirmations, and hypnotic suggestions can change your DNA.
Yes.
So there's nothing really that is genetic and that you have to live with it. It is just that if you, like you spoke about language modulation, language that we use, that can actually alter DNA. Now, this is not being said by a past life therapist only, it's being said by physicists, okay, from the field of science who are talking about this. So I just want everybody who's listening to take what Nidhi is saying seriously, rather than just Nidhi's experience. Yeah, it can be your experience also. If you follow what Nidhi is actually saying. So Nidhi, I mean, just amazing. Yeah, I don't know if you've shared already, but like one case that you took, a past life therapy case, which kind of made you have that wow experience. Can you share one interesting case like that?
So many, it's so difficult to choose from.
But one, let's say, take one.
So there was this girl, this lady who had had 2 miscarriages, and she was living in a state of guilt that she did not take care, and she really, really wants a child. In a state of guilt that she's not been able to take care of her, and because of her, that the pregnancies did not last, and she got to know both times that they were boys. And she got to know about this. She asked me if a session would help. I really did not know how it would help. Of course, I knew it helps, but to say conclusively ki this is what is going to be the outcome or this is how it will help, even I did not know. So she came with a lot of trust, and she, towards the end of the session, she got to know a lot of relationships that she had been experiencing in her life. She asked me one question during trance state. She says, Nidhi, can I meet them? I said, what do you mean?
Ah,
She
okay.
says, the boys. And she was in that space of life between. She was not in a physical life at that time, a recall. She was in the spiritual space. And she was describing this beautiful space to me. And I said, let's go ahead and request for them to be present here. And she sees an old man walking, a very old man in a white robe, white beard, shiny, radiating skin, really, really old. And she started to cry. She said, but it's not a boy, it's not a baby. I said, then it's an old man. I said, then it's him. I said, okay, tell me more. She said, she says, but then she could sense that that was the presence inside her as that child. She lost that boy when she was 5 months pregnant. I said, okay, you need to ask him. I may not be able to tell you why he left, or I may not be able to give any answer. You need to ask him. She got into a conversation with that evolved soul who was there. He said, you were going through a rough patch. I was never supposed to be born. You were going through a rough patch. You had recently lost your father, and you were in a place and space where things were against you. You could have committed suicide. I came in to ensure that you don't end your life, but it wasn't my thing to be born. So then the circumstances had to be made such that the pregnancy had to be terminated.
Okay.
And she tells me, she says, I know this presence. I said, tell me more about how you know this presence. She says, I was a girl of 13 and my school friends had alienated me, and I was sitting alone in my room crying, and I felt comforted. I felt something telling me, you're fine. This is the feeling. This is the presence who I felt. This is the kind of feeling that I felt in an embrace at that time also. So he is my guide and he's my teacher. This is what has, it shook me, because I mean, I thought a past life recall, a past life, connect with she not having taken care of someone, or her child who was a parent at that time not having taken. I thought it was some vice versa or netting off happening. Little did I realize that this is what she's in for. And after that experience, she's the guilt that she was living with just vanished. She started to live so joyfully. And I said, how about the other boy? She said, oh, he couldn't be bothered. It wasn't for him to be born. I can see him playing football. He's a very young boy of 12, and I can see him playing somewhere around, and he's just so happy. So I'm happy that he's happy. But when she met this evolved soul over there, in that space, her life only shifted. And she says, till date, she tells me, she said, Nidhi, I talk to him. Whenever I need guidance, I say, please help. And something or the other happens in a way that I am guided. So these are the things which cannot be explained by science. How? How, in my limited knowledge of these many years on the earth, can I deny it? And can I say it isn't possible? Because it has helped her heal in such a big way in her own life. And there have been instances where people have also healed of their physical diseases that they had been diagnosed with through past life experiences. I really don't know how to trash that. Something very divine and inexplicable happens during these sessions and in these times. I mean, how can I even be telling you all this? You know, you've been doing this for so many years. It's again chota muh
Yeah.
badi baat.
And नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं. I think every experience that somebody narrates just makes me feel that there are so many of us now who are connected to the infinite. I think it gives me tremendous joy that we have this huge community which I know, and many, many, many I don't know. And we are all connected to that, and we believe in that infinite space that is actually the space of universal intelligence. And I think it's just, every time somebody narrates an experience, I just want to listen more, you know. That's really, I think, what happens to all of us, Nidhi. How has all this changed you as a person, I'm wondering? Because, you know, when we started out the discussion, you spoke about the authority, then the little bit of phobia, then you know, the insecurity, the lack of confidence, and all that you were going through. And now I can see, as you are even talking, you spoke about PLR, you spoke about NLP. I mean, the confusion and chaos seems to be settling down, is the feeling I'm getting. So how is all, I mean, how are you looking at your life now and
Life
the
is much more
future?
simpler.
Ah.
What I also feel is that there is this term I used to use, that future is unknown.
Hmm.
With all this and all these experiences, I feel the future is an arena of endless possibilities. And every decision that you make, you tap into one of these possibilities which already exist in the future. And I feel that the more you work here, there is a reason why we've come here. My main question at that time was the time that I was crying. I said, I'm not here for this. Give me a direction. Let me know what my life is meant for. I have arrived here on the earth. Is it even possible that I leave it a shade better? Is it even possible that because of me, someone else's life can get better? That is what I get to do every day. That is what makes me get out of bed every day. That is what makes me reach out to these amazing books that people have written, or the amazing courses that are going on, to say that if I continue to work on this piece that is sitting over here, me here, and because of me, if someone else's life gets even a shade better, I would be the most fortunate person on this planet. And my sister and I, this is exactly what we are doing. I mean, I'm so glad that we are aligned as far as this is concerned. We are very different as personalities, but the core alignment, or our alignment, is here. And one fine day it just occurred to me. I said, let's be the key. So that's what we also called our company. We said we are the key to you. you
Yeah,
already
and
you already have the answers inside. No, you just need a chabi to find that answer from within your own
yeah.
life. So it's made me simple. It's made me humble. I'm not. I still don't say I'm 100% not arrogant. I think sometimes I do get into all of that, but I think it's a process and
Absolutely.
it's a journey. And I am very fortunate that I have come across amazing teachers who picked me every juncture and put me in where the place that I had to be. And one needs to just be aware of the fact that the teachers are all around. You just need to be open to them coming into your life, which
Absolutely, Nidhi. And I have to say this because your sister Manisha is one of my favorites. So I just want to say that when I look at Manisha and you, I feel there are these two beautiful soulmates who seem to have a common purpose, and they give meaning to each other's lives. You know, that's the feeling I have when I look at the two of you, and the kind of reverence, that's the word I'm using, the way Manisha looks at you with reverence and keeps calling you Didi, Didi, Didi. Even if she knows an answer, she will still wait for you to give an answer. And I think that's the kind of love that I see between the two sisters. And it speaks a lot about your, you know, kind of individual journeys
yeah.
that you all have taken. And I'm especially talking about the two of you because I feel that, you know, when siblings uh, have a common goal and a common purpose, you can create something so beautiful between the two of you, and even as a family. You can contribute to your family, and I think the two of you are meant to do good things, great things, and spread wisdom, is what I'd like to say. So I've enjoyed your sharings. They're deep.
Nidhi, there is a beautiful quote that I had put down even on my Facebook and LinkedIn the other day, and this quote is by Carl Jung. He says, "In all chaos there is a cosmos, and in all disorder, order." So Nidhi, I'm sure there was a secret order behind everything for you.
I agree. In fact, my sister and I are the only ones in our family who've broken away from the norm of a structured work life, so called. And I think it must have been very difficult for even our parents to acknowledge and even fathom what we were doing, because both of us have left our lucrative jobs and started doing work which is very different. I do remember seeing a lot of discomfort on our parents' faces, and today it's with a matter of great pride that I say that they are our biggest advocates. And I'm sure the chaos has brought in an order even in their hearts, because it is not easy to say or see, grown-up children going in a different direction where कि इनका कोई structured life नहीं है इस तरह से, that how are they even going to uh, bring in the money for themselves or stuff like that. But the word that I understood is surrender, and the word that I've understood in the past few years is trust. If you've been sent here, there is a reason why you've been sent here. Just align.
Just align. I love that.
Aligned. And
Lovely.
we are not.
But I think I'm so happy that I have a group of wonderful students who have aligned together to a common purpose.
Look at your purpose, ma'am, for bringing us together like that. You're just bringing us together like that.
So I thank Nidhi,
and
you
aligned us all together, ma'am.
Yes, and I'm so happy that we're all together today in this wonderful purpose ahead. So thank you, Abhilasha.
Thank you so much, Nidhi. Everyone.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, truly, ma'am, to be able to even share this platform with you. It's amazing sharing space with you. It's like beautiful.
Thank you.
So guys, before we leave for the day, we just want you to think about it, have a retrospective conversation with your own self today. And till we meet next time, next episode with Dr. Jain and another new guest with us. Thank you so much, and we are signing off now. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Abhilasha.
Thank you, Nidhi.
बातों से खींच के ये आंचल